I'm not happy. So if you're a parent of teenager or you're interested in making this world a better place for teenagers, come closer. And if you're not, please keep scrolling. I have this for you, and you have to listen up if you're a parent of teenagers. We just concluded a class, our teens Valentine hangout. And I mean, ordinarily, I'm supposed to be very excited and happy about it. And I am, on one hand, actually, because that class, that event provided me an opportunity to mentor, teach, train over 1,000 teenagers from everywhere, including outside this country. But the class actually left me thinking because we had over 100 questions coming from these teenagers, asking different questions of deep-seated secrets, sharing deep-seated experiences they've had. As much as it's an opportunity to, have them get vulnerable to me and ask me those questions and open up to me, I'm also asking myself a fundamental question. Where are their parents? How can these teenagers be experiencing these things? How can these teenagers be managing these crises? I mean, we had issues of sleeping with cousins, doctor sleeping with a teenager that is supposed to be a patient of his, and parents not even accepting when the child tried to open up to their parents. I cannot share everything that I heard in that class in this video. Some of them I have no right to share here. I've actually heard a lot of stories and experiences of teenagers, but this particular one got me broken. In fact, I literally cried after it. I had some kind of panic attack. So this teenager reached out to me and said, Auntie Precious, please, I want to tell you something. As usual, don't tell anybody. And this teenager has been struggling with pornography and masturbation. I know it's not strange. I mean, we live in a world where we have a lot of people are even telling you masturbation is healthy, there's nothing wrong with pornography, but that's not the message of the day. She reached out with a burning heart, a burning desire to quit, but couldn't. And you know the funny thing? I've handled this kind of case for both girls and boys because I used to think that, pornography and masturbation is something that only boys do when I was starting out as a teens coach. But I recently realized that, come on, this is not just for boys, this is for both gender. The struggle is real. Oh, the struggle is real. My joy and excitement is that in less than 4 months of starting to work with this girl, of course, we had to go back to her self identity to fix back her identity issue, because if you don't, there's nothing, you can't just forget about solving the problem. And a challenge that she's been dealing with for over 10 years. By the special grace of God, we're able to handle it. What's my point with this story? The teenager that you are saying is not talking to you have so much to say. That teenager that you're saying, she's always in her room, she doesn't talk to anybody, she's quiet, she's well behaved. Just be sure that you are not brooding something else in your home. They have a lot to say. That's why they write in their diary. That's why they journal a lot. They have so much that they would want to talk to you about. And another crazy part is that sometimes you're not even available for them to talk, so they'd rather talk to their friends who do not know any better. And sometimes they get even worse advice from their friends. Things are happening. Our teenagers are getting lost. They are navigating life alone. They are asking questions. They have confusion, especially in the area of love, sex, crush, relationship. And we are not talking. Are we serious? Are we even ready for this conversation? How can you Leave your teenager to navigate life alone, dear parents. These were the same teenagers, the same children that you gave birth to. And of course, from the time you took in, you were very excited, you were happy, you're expecting a baby, and then they were born, you were happy, there was celebration, everybody came together, there was joy in the air, and you did child dedication, you did their 1 year birthday, their 2 years birthday, you were strongly connected, supposedly. But they kept growing and they get into secondary school, they get into the teenage years, and suddenly you think they no longer need your attention. Let me bust your bubble. Do you know that teenagers spell love Time? Yes. They spell love Time. Time. Not just time, quality time. How much time do you have for your teenagers? How much time do you sit down and talk with them and listen to them and ask them questions and interact with them and build connection before you correct? Remember, connection comes ahead of correction. You cannot effectively correct who you've not connected with, teenagers inclusive. If you do not have their time, sorry, they won't have your time either. That's why they'll give you one-line answers. That's why teenagers will be going through things. They would rather talk to their friends than talk to you. Because I keep asking myself, why will a teenager start a conversation with me with the likes of, Auntie Precious, listen, I'm going to tell you, please don't tell anybody. Auntie Precious, please don't judge me. Because they're used to your judgment. They're used to every adult judging them. They're used to adults that are supposed to protect them, taking advantage of them. They are used to, in fact, one told me, my mom, each time I do anything, she starts laying curses on me. And tomorrow you want that kind of teenager to open up to you. It doesn't work that way. Teenagers are people too. They have emotions. They have intellect. They think. They remember things. So they want your time. They need your time. I know you pay their school fees. I know you do all sorts. You provide for them, buy them clothes, give them shelter. But hey, whereas those are good, they are fundamentals. They should be there. But the thing is, if you really want to connect with your teenager, you need to pay more attention. You need to connect more with them. Let me shock you. Teenagers do not care who paid the school fees. They care who was present. So if you pay all the school fees and give them all the love and buy all the presents, but you are not present, you buy them presents, but you are not present, you've lost them. Because how can a teenager be having sexual affair with their cousin? How can a teenager be sexually molested by the doctor that's supposed to be taking care of them? How can a teenager get confused about their sexuality and for the past years, over 5 years, they have been meddling with gay and all of that, but they can't talk to you? And you're not even aware. My goodness. I mean, I've been a teens coach for the past 13 years and I've heard things. But you see, this last experience that I had in the past few days after the teens Valentine hangout, it shocked me. Honestly, I didn't see it coming. And now I understand why God insisted and laid it in my heart to have that program. Because up until now, I still have dozens of questions on my table to answer. So my question is, are you ready to parent? Do you even understand the difference between your generation and the generation of your teenagers? Do you even understand the generational gap? Do you even understand the difference in culture between when you were a teenager and now that they are teenagers? The difference is 7-up. It's clear. They are not growing up in the same world you grew up in. A lot has changed. And our approach must change as well. You can't say, they'll figure things out. I'm busy making money. I work so hard. Congratulations. Please keep working hard. But then again, make time for your teenagers. If not, the other people across the other end will open their arms wide and accept them. The likes of cultists, LGBTQ communities, so much. They will open their arms wide and accept them. And then the funny part, we even ship some of them to boarding school. At 16, they're already in the university. At 15, they're writing jam. They're getting into the world to navigate world alone. They will go to school as girls and come back as boys. Come on. They'll go to school as boys and come back as girls. And then we start praying and asking God for help, really. God gave you those children for you to raise them. Please do a great job. And hey, there's nothing wrong with getting partners to help you. There's nothing wrong with getting communities, joining communities to support you. There is nothing wrong with connecting your teenager to a mentor, to a coach, to help them. Nothing wrong with that. We all know Steve Jobs, but the part of the story of Steve Jobs that we do not know is that he grew up with adopted parents. Not his parents raised him. At the point they saw the gaps, they realized that, especially the mom, that she can't do a great job raising this child. And she had to give him up for adoption. Now, I'm not saying that you should give up your teenager for adoption, but why not get partners, trusted adults? Example, Coach Precious. I can't even lie. I mean, why will I hide under the shadow? Example, Coach Precious, Flourish, Ifeanyi Chukwu. Me. And so many other good mentors out there that can help you. Stop complaining. I've been talking and she's not listening. I've been talking and he's not listening. I've tried to talk. I've tried to encourage him. I've even tried to ask him questions. He gives me one-line answers. She gives me one-line answers. These are the same teenagers that when they were toddlers, they would run their mouth every time they come back from school. They would download everything that happened in school. What's changed? Ask yourself that question. Is it possible that there's a missing link? Is it possible that you are no longer connected with them? Is it possible that you are not speaking their love language? And when once their love tank is dried, you've lost the connection. So you need to learn. You need to connect them with the right influence. And hey, remember, if by the time your child moves from toddler to young adult to teenage, preteen years to teenage years, you will no longer be the most influential person in their lives. A lot of parents are scared of this truth, but it is what it is. You are no longer the most influential person in their lives. There's a change. So one of the things you need to do is that, because the most influential people in their lives now are their peer, are pop cultures, are other significant adults, you need to consciously put in place those figures, those individuals, so that by the time they're connecting with them, you are sure they're connecting with the right person. I've written 7 solid books, both for teenagers, for parents of teenagers, for teen mentors, people that work with teenagers in every capacity. I've written resources. I have free materials. I have paid for materials. I have trainings. I have events I put together. I have a community for parents. And you want to learn how best to connect with your teenager, how best to raise your teenager. I have a community that you can join today. I have a community where I mentor teenagers, and it's currently ongoing. One of the things that baffles me about a lot of parents is that we have the money to buy our children pizza. We have the money to buy them iPad, iPhones, but we don't have money to invest into their future. Who is fooling who? We have the money to take them out, to take them on vacation, which is good. I support that. But a fraction of that money invested into their personal development, a fraction of that money invested in connecting them with significant adults, professionals that can help them to reinforce the things you've been teaching them. Professionals that can connect with you, that can partner with you in raising them to become the exceptional teenagers of your dream. A fraction of that money can give you that result. But do we do that? No. Don't be that kind of parent. We have to stop being careless with the way we're raising our children today. We cannot keep donating our children to cultists because of the way we're raising them. We cannot keep donating our children to addictions. We cannot keep donating our children to abusers, molesters, predators because of our carelessness. We cannot keep handing over to God the responsibility He has handed over to us. It is such a crazy thing to do. Today, make a decision to walk your teenager the right path, to connect them with the right community, the right individuals, the right materials and resources. Check out my seller link and you'll find all sorts of materials that can help you in your parenting journey and that can also help your teenager. I've written books, the likes of Everything Teen, Talk the Talk, The Girl's World, my recent book, and Love, Sex, Crush, and Relationship. 50 questions teenagers are asking about love, sex, and relationship. I wrote that book, of course, to address questions teenagers ask. You don't need to think too much. Just pick up the book. You see questions. Use it and have interaction with your teenager, especially because this Valentine is at the corner. Don't just want them, if your mom touch you, you'll get pregnant. We should have been done with that era by now. Don't just dump rules and regulations on them. Teach them boundaries. Teach them how to be assertive, how to say no and stand by it. Have conversation. That book, my recent book, you can literally pick it up and have conversations on what love is, what to do when you're crushing on someone, what to do when someone is crushing on you, what to do if someone asks you out as a girl or as a boy, what to do when everybody around you is dating and you're just the only one standing. They are already made questions and answer, expert answers for all those questions. 50 of them. You can start from there. There are so many other things you can do, but let's make a decision today to be the kind of parents our teenagers want. Dear parents, please wake up. Do with this information what you should. And don't forget to share it with everyone in your community around you. Let's save more teenagers and let's make this world a better place for them.